Hi guys, today we are going to learn React.js. Before tutorial we have just finished JavaScript and we are diving into React.js. Mm, Make sure that you are perfect in object and some mapping in JavaScript before diving into the React.js. Uh, Before starting React.js, just download the Node.js here. It's going to create an environment to run JavaScript code in your system. And after downloading, I'm going to check, go to command prompt and click the name node. Yes, welcome to Node.js version 22. Like, it's going to give the current version which you have downloaded, means you have Node.js. Now we can go to VS Code. I'm going to create a new folder. Mm, New folder. Just as this tutorial I have created, selected. Now go to the command prompt. Let's go. I'm using the terminal and I'm running the command to download the node modules and some packages. Px create react app. This is the command npx create react app, and in the last we have to give some name to our React project. I'm just giving client. I just gave the name client. So it's going to create a client folder. It's going to download the wanted dependencies and some modules, some packages. Yeah, we downloaded the node package, node modules and packages and dependencies. Now I'm not going to explain the structure, the folder structure, because there may be a chance of confusion. So I'm just saying it like if you want to run an React.js project, first after starting the React.js projects, the index.js projects which is in the source is going to which is having app rendering app. It's going to be displayed first, going to run. I think like it's going to run first. This file is going to run first. In this file, this index.js is uh, rendering app. App is here. This is the app.js. Whatever code we are writing in app.js means app function, it's going to be rendered there in index going to be displayed. It's very simple. After Jesus, just ignore this. Now to explaining about component. First of all, component means when we are writing HTML CSS in in HTML CSS, we are just writing a bunch of code and running it. But in React.js, we have to write the code like in a website we will have a nav bar and sidebar, and there will be a content bar, and we have to develop, we have to create its uh, for every module in a different component, like for navbar one component, one file, and sidebar one file, and bottom bar one file, for content one file. Whenever we want we can just import it and use it multiple times, if we want it. Like, just see how I'm going to create. Component is nothing but just I will just write, say, function app. The component name should be start with capital. Okay, app, just writing a function app which returns only one parent. Always the function return only one parent division or one parent HTML tag. Like, I'm just writing a div. If I write two division here, it's going to throw me error. Like, just see here, it's going to throw error. Always it's going to return only one parent division or parent element. Like, h1 hello React.js, hello React.js, export default. After, I'm going to explain about the export and import also. Just ignore now, just focus on the component which we are creating, the app. Export default component name. Yes. Now if I want to run this project, React.js project, I have to just cd cd client npm start. Now it's going to run, take some time, like just in a in a seconds. Always remember, the React project is going to run in the local host, and the port number is 3000. Hello, this. Yeah, this is the app component returning h1. This is called component, like a function returning some HTML code. If a function is returning some HTML code, is called a component. And whenever we want this division or this component, if you want to use it multiple times, just we can create another file. If there is a need of this element in another page, we can just import it and we can use them. Like, uh, there is no need of writing multiple times. And we also have an class component which we are not going to use in React.js. There is class component, but we are not going to use much in React.js. Many people are going to use functional component. And after we are discussing about JSX. Okay, JSX means JavaScript XML. Uh, like, this is a function. I'm declaring a variable name, Rama, and now I want this name to be displayed in h1. I'm just writing here name. Now just see what I'm refreshing it. Name. The output I want is the name variable which have the value is Rama, but it is printing only the name, which like it's going to, I'm putting curly braces and writing name Rama. This is the JavaScript. We are writing JavaScript in HTML. It's called Java XML, JavaScript XML. If you want, if I want to run some console statement here, console.log hello. Whatever JavaScript code I want to run, I have to just write in between the curly braces. Now I'm going to the console hello has printed. Another main thing is in HTML CSS we just give class like this, and class name just parent. This is the class name we are giving in HTML CSS. In JSX and React.js we are going to give class name like in camel case class name. The difference is just class and class name. And some other things, some function calling and some other main things are there to discuss in JSX. But if I say no, you may get confused. So we discuss it later when we are going to use. So now we are going to discuss about import and export. So this is the app component. This is the parent component, which is rendered in React in index.js, and I'm also creating a new file for export and import, just explaining about how we have to import and export. Export dot, I have to save the file. If you want to create a component, I have to just save the file name with jsx or js, whatever it may be. Creating a function export return is going to return one hi h1 it's from export component. Now if I want to export this component, if I want to use this component in another file, I have to just, there are two types in export. There is a named export and there is a default export. uh, if I want to export in default, like just see difference between default and named export. I'm using the keyword export to export default. This is default export and the component name. Now I have just exported it, saving it. Make sure that you save before running. Now I want to import it. For in which component there is a need, we will just in app I want to just render here the ex component, just importing the keyword import. It's a default export, that's why we are using the same name here. From ex from, in the same folder the export also there, that's why I'm using dot forward slash the file name export.js. Okay, and it is imported. I'm using here ex. Just if you want to call or render the component export, I'm just what I do is just I declared a component and exported it and imported in app, and I'm calling here in an using tags, like you don't call it like ex. It's not the way we are going to render a component. This is the way ex. Okay, from export component. Yeah, this is import and export. And now coming to the named import, I'm going to export it from here. Export function ex. Like using curly braces. Okay, I'm exporting here. This is the named export. I have just gave export before the function, means I want the as is ex. I'm exporting with this name, so I have to use ex within the curly braces. This is called named export. And props. Coming to the props, props is nothing but a property which we are just sending from child to the from parent to the child. See here, in this scenario, app is the parent and this ex is the child. Why? Because the app is the parent, app is rendering the ex is the child. If I want to if I want to send some information or some data to exp file, ex file child, that means child file, I can just send data by using props. I want to just send the name Mohit. So name Mohit. Okay, now I want to use, I have exported name to ex, so I want to use it here. So what I do is I have mentioned here props, and now I'm going to props. So this component is going to accept the whichever data we are returning from the parent, like here. So it's going to catch the data, and now we just console.log, props, just see what's coming. Name Mohit. I give here in just name equals to Mohit, but the when I'm printing props, it's showing in objects like so. If I want to use name, you can use the destructuring concept, like let curly braces. What we want is, this is the prop, so we want name, means I can just use it like props.name, or destructuring like I want name key, right? Name from object name props. Okay, we can just keep whichever name we want here, name. So I'm let's console it, console.log name Mohit. And if I want to use it here, just follow the JSX name, hello name, hello Mohit. This is the property or a prop we just written from the app file and using it in child component, that is exp.js. Same like we can just in the app I'm just writing an object obj equals to name Mohit id 1. This is the object. I want to send this object, so I can use obj. If I want to send just one name, I can just send like Mohit in the string way. If I want to if I want to give props as an object, if I defined object obj, and now I'm going to return data. If I give obj, it's going to take as like a string, means here we have defined an object and we are giving as prop. It's going to take as an string, but we want to return it as an object, so just using curly braces, that is JSX obj object. Okay. And export Whenever you are writing in JavaScript or React project working on, just use this console. Whenever the data is transformed from one file to another file, you have to just see this first, the component is getting the data or not. Make sure that I'm saving it. Console.data, this is the data I got. So props.data, if I want this name, if I want to print the name, I have to just like props.data.name. See now, hello props.data.name. Now so id, copying that, and id, hello Mohit 1. This is one way. There is a short way like name comma id, but this time not props, not only props, have data. We're destructuring name and id from props.data. Now same result. Now we are going to use how we will use map and filter. Coming to the map and filter in React.js, for example, there is an data coming from the backend, which is an from products API, products data in an array. We have to display using map. Let's see. We'll use map filter and find these functions multiple times. Let's see how I'm going to use. I already declared an object. So I want to, for map, I want to have multiple, like I am just giving an array data da, like products equals to array. Here I'm giving okay, id2, name Rohit, copying that Rohit, and id3. So we have the data in the array. So I'm just sending this data to data equals to curly braces. We gave the name pro, pro. Now just see. Now I want to see the data in how the data is coming so that I can display the data. Saving it. This is the data I'm getting from parent props.data, and in the data we have some array. So this is the data we got from the parent to the child. So I want to display it by using destructuring. I'm just destructuring the name data props console log data. So we got array. Okay, we got the data, and you have to check continuously in the console how the data is, if it is array form or it is in variable form. Now we have the data in array form that we have just before it is in props.data, but we have just destructured it data. It's an array. In array we have multiple objects. Now I want to just display it by using map data dot map arrow function variable which is going to target the current. So return list the list ul. This is another list. I told you before, this return is going to only return one tag, that is, it's not going to return multiple tags, only one parent tag. So this is right. I'm getting error. Why? Because I'm writing JavaScript code in HTML. Like, so I'm using JSX curly braces. So P, this P indicates the current. If I'm using like data, this is the P, and after displaying that, the P is going to target this one. After it's going to target 2. So I'm going to name it like P dot name. We got the names here. Let's see. We got the 3 names. This is how we are going to use the map in React.js. It's going to we are going to use map function multiple times when it comes to big projects. Also, if you want to display the data, like there is an products data, there is, we can just see in Flipkart and Amazon, they're displaying data like this only, just using map, and there is a filter. You can also use filter by using filter at p return if I want to filter, just see, I want to get only the ID one. Let student which have the ID one, student data dot filter arrow function return id equals to 1. key.id, which is equals to 1. Consoling it, console.log, console.log stu. It's going to return only one, name Mohit, id equals to 1. This is how we are going to use filter in React.js. Same like find. The difference between find and filter is going to return a data in an array, but find is going to just see, it's going to return an just variable, not array. Fine. Same. Here you see, I got an object, not in array. In before I got the object in array, but now I got, while I'm using find, I got like an object. So next we are going to fragments. I told you before, this component is only able to return only one parent tag, like division or any other one, just one parent tag, not two. So I'm getting error here. So I want to return multiple divisions, like multiple divisions. I can use fragments concept. Just this is called fragments. Now I'm just showing an example. I declare fragments empty tags and h1 data dot map data students grade. Okay, return h1 p dot name. Now I'm returning h1, so just saving it. Made a mistake. D. So this is how fragments work. Like I'm returning multiple h1s here. If I do same, by using without fragments, Mohit and Yohit, it's going to throw error. If I use fragments empty tags and XML, which is mapping the data, it's going to return h1 3 times. So that this is the data. Event handling. Now we are going to discuss about event handling in React.js. I'm just going to app.js. So now we are going to discuss about event handling React.js. I'm writing a function here. Just returning one h1 not. I'm just giving a button here. Button input self closing and on change. If you want to capture the input value in the JavaScript, we are going to use document.getElementById.value. But in React.js, input onChange, there is an attribute called onChange equals to, we are writing an arrow function e or any variable, which is the information of input is going to stored in e. So console.log e, running it. Yeah, this is the e. We have just printed here e. So the main this is the attribute on change. When you are making changes in input on change, just if I am writing like Mohit Mohith, like every step it's going to update it, like it's going to store in an variable. Just we have declared an anonymous or an arrow function which is going to capture e is going to capture the information about input, and we are just console it. Now see, it's going to give here the type React name, and so there will be an key like the length, and there will be the length, and this name length target. There is a key target. So in the key target there is a key value. So here I am just e dot target. Now see what happening. I'm just changing here heads. E dot target dot value. So after entering DHF, I got here the value. I'm printing e dot target dot value. Mohith. See on change, every letter it's going to change updated Mohit. Now I'm going to write an function click alert hello, and just say good morning. If I want to call this I have to put this in one div, so I will not get any error. There will be a button click. The event lesson is same. On click equals to function click So now see what is happening. This is how we are going to use and call the function in React.js. On click equals to function name here. So here comes the main drawback. When it's a function, if I want to give some arguments to the function like name or id, see there will be an overlapping of alert function. Coming to the complex projects, it's going to be a big issue where we are going to use this on click and function. We are going to call the function multiple times, so better to write the function like this: on click equals to curly braces arrow function click, like this. This is how we are going to write and call in function, so there is no issue. Okay, okay. Just state and use. Coming to the, we are entering into the hooks, React hooks. Now I'm just clearing this out. State and use state. In hooks, we are going to use useState and useEffect, context API, and some custom hook. These are the main hooks we are going to use many times in React.js. useState is used for state management purpose. Like for every variable, there will be a state like let name equals to Krishna. This is the state. So I want to manage the state, like I want to update it and I want to make changes. So I'm using useState, like I'm importing useState. It's a named import, so curly braces use state from React, declaring it variable name, function name to update the state, set name, useState. Okay, default value is just none, empty string. I got nothing. This is the default. Got the default value which we have given here. So I want to update it. I'm giving input type and on change, we discussed it before. E set name function. This is the set name. useState is a function. It's going to return an array which have a name, variable name, and function to update the variable. We are just destructuring it from the function. We're just destructuring here, destructuring the name and set name, a function to update the variable. So I'm using this set name here, set name e dot target dot value. See what's happening here. We'll just get in see Mohit. It's updating. When you are changing the input value, the set name function is going to execute it. So we are updating the value here. Whenever the set name is called, the entire file is going to reloaded and re-rendered, not reloaded, re-rendered. So the value is going to update it. Without set name, we can also write it. Just without useState, we can also create an function that set name text let name equals to okay set name equals to text. I'm consoling it, console.log name. Now see what happens here. It's now you will understand the importance of useState. So I'm updating the name by using a simple function. I'm consoling it here, name. It is updating, the value of the name is updating, but it's not displaying here. You understand? Now I give the value none here. I just declared it. I have not gave any value and I'm displaying it here. The value is changing in JS, but it's not displaying here. Why? Because it's not rendering. The page is not rendering. Whenever the change is taking, the page is not rendering. So we are using same for this. Let name set name useState. Now see here displaying the value. Why? Because when I'm changing, if we use useEffect, when we are making changes in the element, like when I'm calling input on change set name, when I'm calling this function in the useEffect, it's going to re-render the page. So when we are re-rendering it, we are adding some update to the name, so the name will be rendered here. So when we are make changes, it's going to re-render the page. In before function, it is updating, but the page is not re-rendering. You understand my point? It is updating in JavaScript, but it's not re-rendering. The page is not rendered again. Why? Because like if we use useEffect, that is the advantage of useEffect. It's going to re-render the page. The page will be re-rendered. with the new value. That's why we are able to see some change here. For every letter, the page is going to reload it. Now we are done with use state. Just see the code, how it is like. Now we are also discussing about DOM, virtual DOM. Well, DOM is nothing but document object model. If when we are writing an HTML code or in this code, the entire code is going to decoded like in converted into a tree. Like see here, this entire code is going to be in, converted into a tree. Like we have div, after div we have input we have, after input we have h1. So this is the tree. So what React makes different is when we are writing the code in JavaScript, if there is any update, it's going to read out the entire, like, I'm just showing here. Where is the notepad? Notepad Pro. So I'm opening with Brave console. This is the tree console elements. I'm just going to the elements. This is the code. This is the tree. We don't need script. Text Chennai. This is Chennai. See once more. Srikakulam. When I'm hitting the add, the the entire UL is going to be updated. You can see this flash. So the difference between JS and React is, we go to here, right? Element. This is the body. A root div. Input and h1. Now here the only h1 is going to be updated. Now comes which folder. How means when you're making some updates in React.js, the React.js memory is going to copy the virtual down, means the before structure, which document object model, and updated document object model, and it's going to compare both, and it's going to point some updates in which place we are going to update, and it's going to update only that thing, not entire page. It's going to update only uh, render that element, not entire script or entire body. That's the difference between React.js and JS. And virtual DOM. Virtual DOM is nothing but copying the old document object model. So now we can do an to-do list app using React.js. Uh, to-do list is very important logic behind. You can see to-do list logic behind every web application. For example, if you are using YouTube, if you are liking a video, it's going to add it in the liked videos. Means it's a to-do list operation. So after, like, if you are uh, adding a video to your saved list, it is also an to-do list. And when you are uploading photos in LinkedIn, and it is also a to-do. Just we are adding the text here, just we are adding images in our account. Everywhere we are using to-do. So it's, we have to know the logic behind the to-do. So see, we are making to-do list app using React.js from the scratch using useState. Written, let text set text equals to useState empty. This is for targeting text which is user entering in the input field, like input self-closing type text. We're adding a placeholder, enter text, and here it comes on change. This is an attribute, and an arrow function to capture the value entered by the user, that is E. We're storing it in E. And now set text E dot target dot value. Okay, we're putting this in and div. I'm just checking we are getting the input or not, updated input, like text. Here it is updating. Okay, we're getting input. Now another use state for data, not data, tasks. Task dot set task use state. We're giving an empty array, so we're giving data here. Let data equals to task JS on Sunday, and there will be an ID 1. This is one task, one object in an array, and adding another CSS on Monday, id will be 2. These are the tasks. Now this is the data. I have declared an array. In it I am declared and created an object, 2 objects. So it will be like this. If I console it, it will be like this. Now I'm giving default data. Whatever data I have mentioned here, I'm just giving default data. Same like I'm giving default like empty string, empty text. Same like data. I'm giving data. This data is going to add to tasks. Set task is going to is a function we are using to update the tasks, like adding tasks. Just see how it works. Button add, on click event listener, an arrow function, add tasks. This is the function. I have not declared a function add task, but I have just called it add task function keyword. Now I have declared a task. What it's going to do is I'm returning. So we already have the text, taking text as an argument. Now what I do is I'm creating a new tasks, new data, new data. Here it is. And here I'm using a spread operator to copy the before previous data using spread, like spread dot tasks. What is going to do is let new data equals to spread operator dot tasks. It's going to bring the previous elements. This data is going to, this is data, right? And we are assigning data to tasks, and we are using spread operator for tasks. So it's going to be like this, new data. By writing here, we're writing this spread operator. We're just saying that copy the previous data, and we are adding new object to the previous. So text to change the text in, text in. Now name, both are same name. We have to give a unique ID. We already gave here 1 2. So the key should be very unique. To delete, when it comes to delete, we have to use ID to delete the object or a task. So we have to make sure that we are using different array unique ID. So I'm giving ID here. There is a function called length. It's going to return the length of the array. So here is an array and we want the length like args dot length plus 1. I'm giving here I am adding a new task, new object and task for the previous tasks which I have used spread operator to copy that, and I'm adding a text key and the text.in value here, text in, and id I'm using task.length. This tasks array, the length is 1 and we are using the length is 2 and we are plusing 1. The id will be 3. Just see console.log n data. Just so we'll see how the data is. To console, React, there is a button. So now just see what happening. Just enter React. I'm hitting add. So here this is the previous two objects in an array, and this is the new one which I have added now. id3 and text is React. id3 like this is the length before is 2. There are two objects, the length of the array is 2, and now in the code I have added dynamically length plus 1, so the id is 3. If I hit again, okay, now I'm updating the um, tasks by using set task, and I'm giving the new data and data to update set tasks. After just maybe for displaying I'm using an order list jsx task dot map t return t dot name a text text These are the previous. I have manually added this task. Now I'm using React add React and MongoDB. Here, here it is. If you want to clear this input field, you can just use set text after updating. So what happens now? React.js set text. And give the value equals to text in. React.js. So now it is updated. It's going to see empty now. Why? Because for the input we can give some value defaultly, like anything. I'm giving a value and text in. Whatever the text is there, I'm giving here. When I'm updating the text, it's updating but not showing in the input. So I gave the value and updated the value. So I want to delete an task. I'm just with the task. So if you want to delete the task, you can just use the button. So on click, I'm just writing a function to delete this. On click, I have not the write the function, but I'm just calling it function delete task, and I am returning the ID, current element ID, t dot id. So now I am writing the function delete task parameter ID getting. Now here we are going to use filter operation. So just see new data equals to tasks dot filter it's going to return t dot id equals to idd. Now I am set task new data So I'm adding React.js, adding it. Now I want to delete React.js, adding equals to. Now it will be perfect. So now I want to delete this first element. It got deleted. So this is how delete works. Now I'm going to show how the code is working. I have done nothing, just whenever I'm displaying the data here, text, I'm also putting a button, delete button. See here, delete button. uh, Whenever we are mapping, I'm just uh, creating an element, and there will be an id. So I just created a function delete task. I have written an function id, t.id means current task id. I'm returning it, and the function delete is going to take the accept the id, which is named like idd double d. Why? Because here I data also having the same id, the name will be overridden. So we are creating new data, task dot filters. We have the tasks already. Task dot filter, t is going to map every element, every object. So return t dot id, it's going to check every object. T dot id not equals to idd. But if you are returning here, if you want to delete first element, it's going to share the id1. So the id1 is going to here idd equals to 1, and tid, it's going to check, it's going to compare with every task's id. So t dot id not equals to idd. If it is not equals to idd, it's going to be displayed. If it is equals to idd, it's not going to be displayed. So the new data will be created, and we are updating the set tasks, means it's going to rerun to the things. Now, as we know, this to-do list is very important. When we first time when we are seeing the code, it will be a bit confusion. So we write as an, you can write like JS compiler, JS compiler. I make this very easy. You will understand. You will know, like let data equals to, this is array. I'm giving some default tasks like text JS on Monday. One key means id1. Node.js, make sure that you are giving unique id for every task in the object. So consoling it, console data, this is the data got here. And now what I'm doing is I'm just using spread operator. Let's see what happening if I use spread operator. So console.log spread data. So before, when I'm consoling the data, see the difference between. Before I'm consoling the data, this entire array is got printed. When I'm using spread operator, the data got splitted from the array. Like you see, there is no array. Means now I'm creating a new object. If I want to add data, see, new data equals to, this is how I'm updating to-do list. New data, spread operator, data. Now this data is going to copied here. By using spread operator, we copied this. If I use like data, we are going to copy this array. Means we are already having an array. In the array we are putting another array. We cannot map this like there is a nested array. It will be very difficult to display that, and there will be no continuity. So data comma, this is separated, and we are using comma for after every object. You see here, means we have separated the data, so comma and adding new one, text hello updated, giving id. How we are giving id is like let data dot length. We have a function that data dot length, which is going to return the data's length. So currently the data length is array length is 2, and here the let length equals to data dot length. The L stores 2 currently. So what I do is I'm just want to give the unique ID, so I'm just giving data dot length data dot length plus 1. So here text hello updated, which we are taking from the user, and this is the id we are giving dynamically. Data is this, and data dot length 2. We have two object before, that's why 2 plus 1 3. Now we are consoling log data. Another one. There will be no semicolon. See how many mistakes. Console. See here, this is what happened. I'm copying the before data and adding new one here. This is what happening. This is the task logic behind the to-do list. So now we are going to discuss about conditional rendering. Conditional rendering means displaying the components based on the conditions. As we can see in the uh, some websites, like if you are already login, it's going to refer us to the redirect to the home page like hello user. If you are not login, it's going to redirect to the sign in page. So means they are using conditional rendering. We know the conditions like if else statements and switch statements and some ternary operations. These are used for conditional rendering or conditional. uh, just see how it works. And sign in equals to true boolean value. I think you know that boolean means 1, false means 0. Ignore this data. Now writing here using ternary operator. Okay. Sign in ternary operator h1 hello user. If it is false, please sign in. So we will get error. See what happening. It displayed the text. Why? Because we have not written. It's in the curly braces. That's why it's reading like an HTML code. Now you will see some difference. Hello user. Why? Because this is called conditional rendering. Sign in equals to true. If sign in is true, if the condition is true, I'm going to render hello user. If not, I'm rendering please sign in. So if I give here false, saving it, please sign in. If I give means we are not sign in, the value is false, means the user is not sign in yet. So we are just redirecting to the sign in page. Please sign in. Put false like hello user. This is one way. Else if sign in, if sign in is true, return h1 user. Else h1 is sign in. Hello user. Why? Because here we have true. This is also a conditional rendering without using ternary operator. Ternary operator means question mark. So we can write like this. This conditional rendering also we will use in API calls. How means when you are getting API data from the backend, it will take some time. In the meanwhile time, it will execute the function, means it will going to map the products. So we not got the data yet, so we can just put this if statements or conditional rendering. So if the data is not came yet, you can just give like loading element, just h1 equals to loading. It's going to till the data comes, it's going to display the loading like that. It is usually like that. This is called functional statement, functional rendering, conditional rendering. So next, what we are discussing today is very important, and we are going to use these topics everywhere, like in every file and every we have some other hooks also. We are not going to use more, but these these are enough to create a complex project. Next we are going to use effect. It is also on hook, mainly used for API calling. Let's see. First we create an stopwatch, and after we go to the API calling. Let's see how we use effect is going to use. This is also called as named folder, named function. That's why we are using curly braces like return. So now coming to here, declaring, not declaring, useState, useEffect. This is the syntax for useEffect. And coming to the useEffect, it's going to accept two arguments. One is an callback function, and second one is dependencies. Like uh, what it's going to do is uh, I'm writing here console.log in comp component. Here I'm writing return not console.log in useEffect. Currently we remove this dependency. This is what we wrote. Let's see. Yeah, in the console it got first executed in component, and in useEffect. Means whenever we are executing a project, first it's going to execute this return. After it's going to come to useEffect. So first it printed in component, and after useEffect in useEffect. So when I'm putting when I'm not giving any dependencies, like I'm giving only callback functions, it's going to, this useEffect is going to um, run every time when the page is re-rendered. If I put empty dependency. Let's go. The use effect is going to print only. Let's see. Print only. Let counter. We just do and project counter set counter. So use effect use state initially 0, the counter is 0. H1 C button is to update the counter. On click arrow function in it, set counter, right? C plus C or C plus plus is going to increment the previous value plus 1. This is how it looks. I'm refreshing it. So when I'm clicking here, first the component, always we know the component is going to execute it. After use effect is going to execute it. When I'm not putting any dependencies, like I'm putting empty dependency. So this is the situation. If I put empty dependency like empty array, the use effect is going to execute it only one time. Like see, when the component is created, then only the use effect is called once. After we have rendered the page multiple times, but it's not uh, executed in the use effect. The use effect is not executed. So why? Because we have used an empty dependency. If I use counter not cc, so when I use c in dependencies, the use effect is going to executed when the c is updated. How many times the c is updated, the use effect is going to updated will be executed that much times. See the difference for before and after for an empty array and giving a dependency. This is the change. And if I am not giving any dependency, is going to the use of it is going to executed how many times the page is rendered. This is the thing. The main use of it is when it comes to me, when I'm getting data from the backend, when I'm updating updating the data from the front end. If I click here, just book an order, just book an order. If I click book an order, it's going to, if the data is going to change when we are giving in the dependencies. If I put here counter, same for counter, the number of orders is 0. And if I'm clicking adding an order in online for any app or cart, if there is a cart, I'm adding add cart and I'm giving here cart. If the dependency is cart, it's going to, whenever the cart is updating, this user effect is going to updated and executed that much times, it's going to re-end the page. And now we are creating an stopwatch. Let's see how it works. Time, writing and set interval. It's a built-in function which is going to accept two arguments. One is callback function and one is timer. 1000 milliseconds means 1 second. So I want to execute this useEffect for every, just see here, okay, seconds. So console.log t. Giving here date equals to new date, which targets the current date. For t, I'm giving an initial data like date dot get seconds. $50 seconds. So I got the seconds. I'm going to update the second for every second dynamically by using useEffect and set interval. Set counter date dot get seconds. Printing here h1 what is it t. This is how it's working. I'm using CMRT. So now I want to discuss about how we are going to fetch data from the backend using a fake API store. There is a fake API store which provides data like fake products data, fake API, fake store API. I'm copying the URL API. So I got the fake store API. So this is the API I'm going to use. useEffect callback function, and so we already discussed about async and await. We are not allowed to write an async or a async before then a arrow function or a callback function. So we have to write an function in it. Function async function get data and let res equals to await fetch let data equals to res await await res dot json. Converting the we are getting data from the res and we are converting the uh, res to json. JavaScript object notation, we're converting the data into JavaScript object notation and storing in the data variable, and we are using await. Why we are using await means coming data from the backend, it takes some time or milliseconds. In the meanwhile time, it's going to the another line, the next statement going to execute. There will be an error. So we are using rest.json, converting a json without getting the rest data. It will be an error. So we are using await, and if we use await, we have to use async before the function. So I'm using async function. So I'm converting and consoling the data, console.log data h1 fetching fetch the console. We got nothing. Why? Because we have wrote an function, but we have never called the function. So we have to call the function get data. Yeah, we got some data here. Now we got data from the fake store API in the object JavaScript object notation that is called JSON. There is an array. In the array we have nearly 20 objects. If we use mapping, we can just display it. So just see, and displaying the data here. You will, by using UL tag, and I'm declaring an useState to store the API data products, comma set products equals to useState. Empty array. After getting the data, set product with data. You can map in the data dot map product, which points every object, not data, products dot map. P is going to point map every objects, like I'm return LA P dot title. Why title means here, see, for example, if P pointing to the first zero index object, first object, we are displaying the title. Here title is, and fold sec there is an object name title. We got the objects here, just see 20 objects with the titles. This is how we are going to use useEffect for API calling. Now we are done with useEffect and useState, and we are going to context API, which is also used for state management. What it's going to do is like I have like many files. This is the parent, that is app.js. Currently I have the products data in this app.js, so I want to use this products data in this children components, which are rendered inside the app. I want to make sure that the products data, whatever I'm getting from the API, I want to use it in like all these three children components. So what I'm going to use, if I'm useState also is also an used for state management, but it is only used for in that file. If I using if I want to make changes, if I want to make data available in that file only, we can use this useState. It's only for task and like that. If I want to make like a cart or like a dynamic routing, which we are using in YouTube videos. If I'm there will be 10 videos displayed, and if I'm clicking one video, it's going to be another page with the selected video what we have selected before, means like that. I'm for that intermediate projects we are using context.api. It is also used for state management. So this is how context API works. And so now what I'm doing is I'm just copying this entire changing the name home not products row. Row. Deleting the data. Renaming it product. I'm also creating one more file. p.js. P for product and pro for products. In the products we are going to display 20 products. In P we are going to display only one product which we are selected in the pro. So we are starting with an home, and now we are discussing about dynamic routing. Like npm install dynamic not dynamic React router down. Yeah, we downloaded npm start. Yeah, displayed none. So what we do is first we are discussing about dynamic routing, and after we are going to discuss about an context API. Dynamic routing is nothing but when you open YouTube, you can see some 10 videos in the home. If you click on one video, you are going to another page which is having the video you have suggested before the home. In the home, it's called dynamic routing. It's going to display whatever you're selecting in the before page. I have downloaded the package and I'm importing import It's a named import, export. That's why browser router has router, comma router, not router, routes. Here a route from React router down, which we have downloaded before. These are the packages we are going to use for dynamic routing. So routes, this is also self-tagging. Now here I'm creating a route like path products element sampling here, like whenever the I'm calling the path slash products, which means here it's going to add products. It's going to redirect to the this page products, which are having which we have I have mapped some products, and I'm also creating the route which is for single product which I want to display from the selected by user product. This is dynamic id. Here it is dynamic slash dot product and forward slash and id. This is will show like this. Here I haven't created anything before. Function p not for product return rods product export default p. So we have to see is it running or not. It's not displaying anything, just see what happening. Product pro router from making a small change. routes, routes. Oh, I'm not written. So let's see. Yeah, when this is the syntax for dynamic routing. Here I have a parent component app. In that I'm writing a router tag, and in that I'm declaring the routes. I have two routes. I'm creating two routes here. I'm creating path for it, and the element, if I am entering this path, the element should be displayed in the component is pro. It should be redirect to the pro. If I'm entering this path, I'm should the element should be this. Like, see, I will just make this here, product slash id. I gave in the route like this id, but in the place id, this is dynamic, so I can give the product id like this. It's going to the product. So in this page, I'm going to display the selected product by the user. So now I have to export this data to the p. Like, just see what happening here. I'm context API for import create context, and export. It's named export const context variable create context. I have created the create context. So I have created the create context, and now I want to share this products data to p. So I'm to the p. So I'm just using context dot provider value. I want to share this products data. to the T product. Now here I am getting the products data. Just see, import use context. Here I have use context. Now let data equals to use context. Now to import context from pro, given this context okay. I have if I want to use context plus I have to import some use context dependency, and I have to import one context we have created before file which is having the data, and I have to give context to use context. I have given an argument context to use context. Now console this. Console.log data. Let's see if the data reached or not. Showing undefined. Now we are going to focus on only on dynamic routing. In this page, this is the products page, which is displaying the products. You can see here, and if I'm changing the URL from some random key, it's going to product. Now what we do is, if I click on the first any title, it's going to redirect to the about component. It's going to, there will be a special page. Just see this page we are going to make, and in this page also we are going to make an API call, like copying the same thing here. Importing useEffect and useState. Now we have the data, and I'm grabbing ID from use params. Okay, now I got the ID from the address from here, ID2. Now what I do is let ID item equals to products dot find p return p dot id equals to id equals to id. Console.log item. Now here I am writing in button or just on click function here. On click, now p.id. I'm writing the function here. Function now taking id. Okay. Let nav equals to use navigate return nav template literals product id. So let's see what happened. Here we have products. I forgot to write this in arrow function. How it will work properly. Alright, now I'm clicking on this and casual. Okay. Not getting the item which we have selected. Console log. I'm not getting any props, right? Item, not find p.item. Now why? Now we got the data here. Let's see what happening. If I click rain jacket, products. Here I'm writing a conditional statement. just for item ternary operator. Okay. Return and item h1 will be item not, if the item is not there, we're going to write an h1 loading. We have item, just writing h1 item dot title. Now I'm thinking there will be no problem. Okay. So let's make this dynamic routing using images. We try to keep some images, like we have the data here. In the data we have image URL, so we can just put some image URLs like div let image equals to p. Is this okay? Okay, I'm going to type let image equals to p, and here img src equals to img. source image. The key name is image, but I am using img. That's why it's showing undefined image. Image. I'm just updating the name. Image. Now it's going to display the images, like see here. Now what I do is, this is not key, h6, h6. I'm converting into h6, and on click, I'm removing this from here, adding to the image. I have to make the number big here. 3 3. Okay. If I click here, yeah, here also I want to display the image, so just see. Is item image. Yeah, this is called dynamic routing. Now if I click here, it's going to redirect to the only single product. If I click here, like this, we can make it more stylish by using css and html. Css styling, but I'm just focusing on the logic. If I click here, it's going to be, you can see it is not reloading, the page is not reloading. That's why you call this React.js a single page application, SPA. This is how it look like. TV, yeah. If you want demo projects, I have done on every topic. I have done projects by dynamic routing and everything. You can search it on my LinkedIn. You can just take as a demo and you can try it your own. The logic is same, but there will be an styling. There will be a basic simple styling. I generally use simple styling. Now this is called it's working properly. Now I want to explain the logic behind dynamic routing. Why? Because it is very important. First time it will be a little bit confusing, but I will try to make you understand the logic behind it. So here, first we have a home page, In that we have multiple products. This is called products ps.js, and after there is an another file which displaying only one image and some data about the product or something else. uh, we are creating two routers, one for this products and second one is for this product. And how we are achieving this means, uh, when I'm clicking on this product, we are going to share this image id. There will be an image, not image id, product id. So in the http, there will be an http. We created a dynamic http. The id will be added to here. http, I will show you, right? I'm clicking here. Yeah, product.id. Okay, coming to this page. After coming to this page, I'm taking id. I'm separating id from useParams. UseParams is a function, like you can just it's going to return an http. If id, we have an id, it's going to return the id will be 2. Yeah, 2, we got the id. Now we have to compare the data with the all products. So I'm comparing with this id to every product. So if the id equals to same id, I'm going to store that item in one variable, so I can display that. This is the logic between dynamic routing. Now we are discussing about context API, which is also used for state management. Like, let's see, for intermediate projects, I'm importing. I have cleared the app. That's why, like, I'm creating app function app and returning creating component div h1 hello from app. And now I'm importing use context, not use context, uh, create context. I'm exporting export const, it's a named export, const variable name context, create context. Now I'm creating a child con.js, like c.js. You can take function con return h1 from con, export default. Export default con. So I'm importing it here in the app, import con. Okay, now context API, I'm calling here. export default. Yeah, this is the child component and this is the parent component. So I have created an context. So with the variable name context dot provider. Okay, I'm giving the child component in between context dot provider value month. Okay, now going to the child. If I want to use context, I want to feature of the context, I have to import use context. Use context. So let data use context. I have to import the context which I have mentioned in app. I'm assigning here context, consoling the data. Select student name Rama ID 20, not 27 student. Got the data here. See, uh, in the app I have created an context and I have created some data, and in the context, between the context I gave the child prop which I want to send the data, and I'm sending the data through here, same like props. uh, and if you want to send data for multiple components, child components, I can just give it between here in many multiple components, and here I'm using use context and assigning context which I was exported before in the before file, and consoling here. So h1 like name data dot name. Yeah, we got it. This is context API. Now we are discussing important topic Redux Toolkit. We are not going into the deep, but we are for just beginners. It will be um, okay. It will be very useful for beginners. Now creating a store.js. We need to download the package npm install at the rate Redux toolkit. Oh, we got an error. I think there is a small spelling error. pm install at the rate Redux.js toolkit. If you know how to use Redux toolkit, you can do an complex project like big projects. Uh, it is also one of the um, most famous feature that is used in very big projects for state management. Start. I'm restarting the problem. I have So I have created a store. Store is nothing but we'll have an multiple reducers and functions to update the data. And import create slice, importing create slice, in configure store. From Redux Toolkit. Okay. Now I have a data. Just imagine that we are having a data from the backend. I'm just giving it manually. Data name Krishna, name is Krishna. Balance 5,000. Now I'm creating slice. So now I'm creating the slice. Let given slice name user slice. This is dealing with user, that's why I'm doing user slice. Create slice JSX and name user initial set. We have to give some initial data. We have to assign some data. Now come reducers. Now we can define our reducers to update the data on transition data. Like if you want to delete data, you can just write the operations right in the reducers. Now I'm writing add amount. Of this add amount, this will have state comma actions action 72 parameters, which is one is state is this data which we have initially initialized. Action, whatever the user requesting, that will be stored in actions that payload. Return state. If you want to add amount, I'm just adding state dot balance plus. Now we see this. Currently we don't know how it coming. This console.log toolkit from store. Put just store. After we have to configure the store. Configure store. Not reducer. Reducer. Now have to give name user and slice name user slice dot reducer. And assign to a variable. Okay, now export the store. Export default store, and also export this reducer. Export const, it's a named export. Add amount equals to user slice dot actions. Now also update index.js. Import the store. Import store and import provider. Now we put it here. Provider from Redux Redux Toolkit. Now app. Let's see, is there any warning? Store equals to store. I forgot to download a package called React Redux. So I'm downloading it. React Redux. If I want to import provider, I have to install the package React Redux. So let's wait for the we downloaded it. Now npm start. We have in the meanwhile time I won't explain this. I have imported store. So wait just a second. Okay. Import provider. Import from Redux app. So I'm being store. Now I'm going to explain what the code is. We have created a store. In the store we have multiple reducers which are used to update the data and delete the data and manipulate the data. So and I have exported it. I have exported the store, and this is the index.js which is rendering the main app. And in the main app we will have every children components. So if I want to make this data available throughout the app, I have to provide the data in between the app. So I have created a provider and giving store. It's going to available throughout the app. In the app we will have every children, so that's why the store, that is the difference between useState and context API and Redux.js, Redux Toolkit. It is used for complex projects. The data will be available throughout the project and we can use anywhere, and we can import the data whenever we want. So let's see how it works successfully. Now in the app, okay, docs. Now I want to get this is the data. Here is the data. Just import use selector from Redux. Use selector. Let s equals to use selector console dot log sc data c dot user. Now here we got the data which I have done in declared in store. Now I can import anywhere by just using this, and if I want to update the ammo balance, we'll just update this. Show you import use dispatch. There will be a button. Input. I'm putting some input here. Type equals to number and on click some arrow function, and I have imported use dispatch. Use dispatch is used for if I want to update anything or delete, use the reducer. I have to use dispatch. Let's see how. Let dispatch equals to use dispatch. Okay, now I'm calling the dispatch. Let's see on change key set in e dot target dot value. Let text set in useState giving some random stub. I'm giving one button. PALA and C balance. On click dispatch, add amount, text. From store. Here store is displayed. So before I want to display, here username and balance. Oh, like s dot name comma s dot balance. have to check the prop keys, name, and console.log s. Not returning, that's return state. Now it will be displayed s dot name, s dot balance, Krishna 5000. Now when I'm entering here some number, if I click update balance, the balance should be updated. So where is the story? Console.log action, so 6000 payload. I'm adding here return state plus state dot balance plus action dot payload. Is this correct?